Welcome back to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show and King of the Zombies, in which a tiny model plane carrying 3 men, how they all fit in there I'll never know, crash lands on a tiny model of a Caribbean island. The pilot, his passenger and his comic relief take refuge in an isolated mansion owned by a mysterious German doctor. It may sound like the beginning of The Human Centipede Part 4, but it's nowhere near that tasteful. The quick-witted but easily spooked comic relief is convinced the mansion is haunted by zombies and spends the rest of the film trying to convince people of what he saw. A bit like Big Bird's initial problem with Mr. Snuffleupagus on Sesame Street, which just so happened to coincide with a spike in the number of nervous breakdowns experienced by children under the age of 6. In my introduction, I alluded to the fact that this is the only horror comedy to be nominated for an Academy Award, going to prolific composer Edward Kay for his rather repetitive soundtrack, from which I can only conclude that 1941 must have been an annus horribilis for movie music. Did I say that right? My Latin's off. Sadly, after an amazing 335 titles as music director, tonight's film is the best of an extremely mediocre bunch, which includes Navy Secrets, Wolf Call, The Ape, Mr. Muggs Rides Again, Freddy Steps Out, and Gentleman Joe Palooka, finishing his 3-decade crime wave with The Creation of the Humanoids, which was, of course, remade in 1982 as the cult film Blade Runner, except with Harrison Ford and boobs. King of the Zombies was also the career high point for director Gene Yarborough, whose previous effort was The Devil Bat starring Bela Lugosi, and followed through with House of Horrors, She-Wolf of London, The Creeper, and the final brick in his tomb, the self-explanatory Hillbillies in a Haunted House. I dare say you've thought more than once tonight that Bill the Pilot has a great face for radio, and you'd be right. John Archer's most famous role was as Lamont Cranston, aka The Shadow, which was apparently streamed live every week on a primitive analog wireless connection. He had a few small roles in films like White Heat, Destination Moon, Rock Around the Clock, Blue Hawaii and How to Frame a Fig, but made most of his money appearing in dozens of TV shows like The Millionaire, Sea Hunt, Maverick, The Twilight Zone, Surfside 6, 77 Sunset Strip, Wagon Train, Hawaiian Eye, McHale's Navy, and so on. Proving once again that white men can't jump, or spot a zombie from 2 meters away, is Dick Purcell. He gained fame as the first Captain America, which was the most expensive and therefore the last of the Republic serials. It was also the last of Dick Purcell, who had the remarkably poor timing to pass away just before the serial was released to enormous success. Young Barbara is played by Joan Woodbury, who kick-started her career by appearing in no less than 23 films between 1934 and 1936. She appeared in 50 more films over the next decade, displaying her amazing acting talent by tolerating singing cowboys like Hopalong Cassidy and Roy Rogers, leading up to her most famous role as Brenda Starr reporter. Then at the height of her career, she retired from the acting game to follow the American dream and married a Hollywood producer. That always works out. She kept her foot in the water, so to speak, with appearances in both Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments and the Irwin Allen Rod Serling made-for-TV movie The Time Travelers, which I hope to inflict upon you soon. Won't that be fun? A mix of Danish, British and Native American heritages, Joan developed a reputation behind the scenes for starting fights with herself when drunk. Speaking of imbibing, the role of Dr. Sangre was intended for Bela Lugosi, but he was beginning to experiment with controlled substances at that time. Peter Lorre was approached, but he was experimenting with enormous appearance fees. Finally, at the last minute, character actor Henry Victor was signed up, as he was neither stoned nor expensive. Born in England but raised in Germany, Victor is probably best remembered as the stupid strongman Hercules in Todd Browning's classic film Freaks, after which he was typecast as villains on both sides of the Atlantic with his trademark German accent. The most prestigious name attached to King of the Zombies is Madame Saltuan, who plays the cook and high priestess. She could be seen in the silent epics Birth of a Nation and Intolerance, and could also be heard in many high-profile talkies alongside some of the best talent in Hollywood. Barbara Stanwyck, Fay Wray, Jane Wyman, Melvyn Douglas, Lucille Ball, Veronica Lake, Claudette Colbert and King Kong. Sadly, due to segregation, she was limited to minor characters such as convicts, natives or servants, but her career spanned over 5 decades. She was the first African-American actor ever to sign a Hollywood contract and was duly inducted into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame in 1986. But the real star of King of the Zombies is Mantan Moreland as the excitable Jefferson Jackson. By the late 20s, Mantan had survived vaudeville and began appearing in low-budget blaxploitation movies, but as his comedic talents became recognised, he scored smaller roles in much larger productions. He's probably best known as the chauffeur in the Charlie Chan films, but my regular viewers will probably remember him in his final film role ever, as the postman and first victim of Spider Baby in the film of the same name. Would you believe Mantan was actually considered as a possible addition to the Three Stooges after Shemp Howard passed away? Speaking of disasters averted, let's get back to the second half of King of the Zombies before I say something I regret about replacing Shemp with a Shemp. Oh, too late.
As quiet as a tomb.
The tomb?
Split up.
You don't mean 3 ways. Mr. Bill, I think 2 is better.
Look, Jeff, where did you say you saw those things?
Oh, Mr. Bill, you ain't going down in that zombie nest.
Where is it?
Oh, back in the kitchen?
That's for me. All right, I'll look around up here. Okay, come on, Jeff.
Who, me? No, sir. Oh, Mr. Mac, I ain't got no business down there.
Pipe down. You gotta show me the way.
Does I have to? Can I draw you a map or something?
Oh, go ahead, Jeff. You're wasting your time.
Oh, my goodness. Right out of the skillet into the frying pan. I couldn't win tonight if I had crooked back.
Come.
Never had it, sir.
Do you always sneak up on people like that?
Not always. Tonight it seems to be the custom. I thought I'd return your call. Do you mind?
My call?
It's rather late for research, isn't it?
There were some things I had to know.
So I noticed. When you want to know a thing, you really go after it, don't you?
Would you mind please telling me what you're driving at?
Not at all. This prowling act of yours, what's the idea?
Oh, it's my aunt. I'm so worried about her.
She is hypnotized, isn't she?
I don't know. I think so. You don't think I did it, do you?
Well, I'm in no position to accuse anybody of anything.
Look, Mr. Summers, I've got to get my aunt off this island. She's been this way ever since she came here. I'm afraid if we don't do something soon, something dreadful is going to happen to all of us.
Well, I've got to trust somebody around here, that's a cinch. But in order to help you, you've got to help us.
Oh, I'll do anything. Anything I can.
Well, we think Dr. Sangre has a radio transmitter concealed on this island.
I've thought that for a long while. I don't know where he keeps it, but there must be one because he's always getting messages from somewhere.
Do you think you could find it?
I'll try.
Swell.
We'd better get back to our rooms. Is there anything else?
Not now.
I'll see you in the morning.
Where'd those zombies come from?
They didn't. They sprouted. Just like mushrooms.
With a description like that, they ought to be very easy to find.
That's just what I'm afraid of.
Well, let's have a look around.
Not me. I'm gonna stay right here. The tropic sure gives a man a cover. Don't do that, Mr. Mack. You know my heart can't stand it. You know one thing, Mr. Mack, you see? Wow! Mr. Mack! Mr. Mack! Mr. Mack! Mr. Bill, the zombies got Mr. Mack.
You all right, Mac?
Yeah, looks like I pulled another Brannigan.
That's not so bad. It's just a bump.
Yeah, 2 cracks on the bean in one night. How am I doing?
I heard someone cry out.
It was me, and I wasn't dreaming.
Oh, yes, we thought we heard something, Doctor. We came down here to investigate.
So?
Yeah, I got tangled up with one of your 8 men and got the worst of the argument.
Too bad. I should have warned you. Some of my servants act as guards at night.
You sure it wasn't a zombie?
Ridiculous.
Well, he knows it wasn't a zombie, Doctor. It was our fault. We should have taken your advice and stayed where we belonged.
You're a sensible man, Mr. Summers.
Oh, let's go back to bed, fellas. I'm sorry. This won't happen again.
You know, this stump don't look half bad in the daylight.
Yeah, it almost makes last night seem like it didn't happen.
Don't kid yourself. That earring happened.
You know, I'm beginning to believe this thing was dropped on purpose.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Howdy.
Well, I think you dropped this last night.
That? Oh, no, that belongs to my aunt. I'm so glad I was able to find you alone. There's something I've got to tell you.
Hmm? What is it?
It's about last night. There's a...
Good morning. Having an interesting conversation, my dear?
Miss Winslow was just telling us about your island.
That's right.
Oh, how thoughtful of her. Did you sleep well last night?
Well as we could with the storm and all.
Good. I took the liberty of having some breakfast sent to your room. I hope you didn't mind.
Not at all. It was an unexpected treat.
You seem to admire my wife's earrings.
Oh, I was just,
My wedding present to her.
very unique.
Quite so. I dare say there's not another pair like them in the world.
Really?
They were among the few possessions which we were allowed to take out of the old country.
You don't say.
Well, while you are here, I want you to feel perfectly at ease and do as you like. What are your plans for today?
Well,
I'm going down and take a look at the plane.
Yes, we're anxious to see what damage was done by the crash last night.
I see.
Would you care to join us, Miss Winslow?
Oh, I would love to.
No. That would be quite impossible. My niece assists me as my secretary. We have a lot of work to do, my dear.
Some other time, perhaps.
Certainly. Shall we go, Mac?
I'm all for it.
Enjoy yourselves. But don't forget luncheon at noon.
Thanks, Doctor.
Bill, let's have a look at that earring.
They're the same, all right.
The only pair like him in the world, huh? I don't get it.
Neither do I. Barbara didn't drop it. Madame Sangre couldn't have, apparently. Who did?
This is the most cockeyed racket I ever bumped into.
Well, I'm for getting out of it as quick as possible. Let's get that radio started.
Bill, look there.
What about it?
Ain't that a fresh grave?
So what? You're in a cemetery where it's customary to bury people in fresh graves.
Yeah, but that's been dug since the storm last night.
Listen, are you getting those zombies on your mind, too? You and Jeff make a great pair.
You still don't get it. Take a look at that headstone. That guy was buried over a week ago, and somebody must have dug him up.
Come on.
Boy, will I be glad to get away from this joint. Well, it could have been worse. Hey, Mac, come here. What's the matter? Is it busted? How do you like that?
Somebody's dismantled it.
Dismantle it? I'll say they have. What next on this Devil's Island?
Mac, we're in a spot. I don't know why, but somebody's trying to hold us here.
Trying to hold us, is it? That Dr. Sangre and his druids and his zombies? He better not try to pull any of his black magic on me.
Calm down, Mac. Raving isn't going to get us anywhere.
I'm gonna find that Doc.
Are you crazy? Do anything now to make him suspicious, no telling what he might do. Take it easy until we find out what he's up to.
Well, maybe you're right. But there's one thing I can do, and I'm gonna do it right now.
I said take it easy.
All I'm gonna do is try and find that generator we heard humming last night.
Hey, that's an idea. The old man's got a radio hidden away someplace. We could sure use it. Let's go.
You better let me handle this. Like you said, we don't want to make anybody suspicious. And with two of us snooping around, it mightn't look so hot.
Okay, I'll go back to the house and try to get Barbara away from Doc long enough to find out what she was trying to tell us. Think you can handle it alone?
A cinch. It's right up my alley. My old man used to be a cop.
Tahama,
Yes, master.
how much longer?
Soon, master, soon. Voodoo magic works slow, but it is sure.
The Admiral has fainted. Your magic is no good. It puts him to sleep.
I am Mamalai, high voodoo priestess. I sent him in trance, so he talk.
Too slow. He has valuable information, which we must have at once. The three men upstairs may be in the Secret Service. You must make him talk, Tahama. Dr. Sangre ruft X402. Dr. Sangre ruft X402.
Have another piece of pie, honey lamb?
Already had 2.
You already had 6, but does you want another one?
Well, if you insist.
Boy, you're the most pious man I ever did see.
Ain't it the truth?
I bet you none of them gals in Harlem never baked you no pie like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you ain't so smart. I had me a beau once, and he wasn't no common old valet like you neither.
Is that so?
He was an ex-porter.
Ex-porter?
That's right.
Now, that's fine. What did he handle?
Bags. On the Pullman train.
What become of him?
He was killed by a revolving crane.
A revolving crane? Y'all sure have some fierce birds around this country. Do you miss him much?
Not much. I sees him every now and then.
Who's that?
He's Lazarus. That zombie you met last night.
Oh, Lazarus, that boy?
Jeff,
Oh, it's you, Mr. Bill. You sure give me a turn.
have you seen Mac? He's been missing since early this morning.
No, sir, I ain't seen him. You don't think nothing happened to him?
I don't know what to think.
Don't mind me, Mr. Bill. I'm on your side.
You think we better go look for him?
All right. Before we go, run upstairs and get my gun in the bag, will you?
Well, you gonna shoot somebody?
Now, don't ask any questions. Meet me in the library.
Yes, sir. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Doctor, I'm in the wrong room. No, I ain't either. This is Mr. Bill's room. What you doing going through his bag?
Jeff, I was looking for you.
Looking for me? In there?
I've got something to show you.
You got something to show me.
That's right.
I know, Mr. Doctor, but I got business elsewhere.
Nonsense. This is far more important.
Oh, not to me, Mr. Doctor. What is the matter? That's where that lady went.
What lady?
The ghost lady.
The ghost lady?
Yes, she went right through there.
Come.
Now, wait a minute, Doc. Now, wait a minute, Mr. Sandra. Mr. Bill ain't gonna like this. Where's you taking me?
What?
Where's we going?
Jeff, get a move on. We got... You again. What are you doing in here? Where's Jeff?
I wouldn't know, sir.
It's gone. You know about this, you devil. Give me that gun.
I have no gun, sir.
Don't lie to me. Somebody has. Where's Jeff? Where is he? And Mac, what's happened to him?
I wouldn't know, sir.
You're gonna tell me or I'll...
I said I wouldn't know, sir.
You wouldn't spill it if you didn't know. I'm gonna find him if I have to search every inch of this island.
Yes, sir.
Look at this watch. See it move. Watch it. You have seen nothing. You know nothing. Repeat after me. I have seen nothing. I know nothing.
I have seen nothing. I knows nothing.
I don't even know my name.
I don't even know my name.
I am dead.
I is.
Repeat. I am dead.
I am dead.
I am dead. I have returned to the land of the living. I am a zombie. I am a zombie. I am a zombie.
I am a zombie. I am a zombie. I am a zombie.
Get over there where you belong.
Yes, sir. Move over, boys. I'm one of the gang now.
Mac! Jeff! Mac! Mac, where are you? Jeff!
Aunt Alice, think. Think hard. Remember. Try to remember. Oh, you've got to get over this. You must speak to me. You must. No.
So you're mixed up in this mess, too.
Oh, no, I was only trying to...
I know what you were trying to do. I thought Dr. Sangre was responsible for that. Now I see it's you.
Oh, no, I'm only trying to undo what already has been done.
By hypnotizing her still further?
But it's the only way. You must believe me.
I wouldn't believe you or anybody else in this madhouse. I suppose next you and your vultures will be after me.
Next.
Don't pretend that you don't know what happened to Jeff and Mac.
I know it. Look.
Mac! He's sick. Get some brandy. Mac, tell me what's the matter. What happened? Where have you been? It doesn't do any good. Well, I hope you're satisfied.
No, I didn't.
I saw your friend enter from the jungle. Is anything the matter?
What do you think?
Well, let's have a look. I was afraid of that. He has contracted a very rare and dangerous jungle fever.
Is that so?
It paralyzes the motor region of his brain. He must have medical attention at once.
But you're a doctor. See what you can do about it.
I'm sorry, it's beyond my powers.
I thought so. You're going to let him die.
Not at all. There's a native doctor in the village who knows more about this than I do. We'll send for him at once.
I see.
Find Mamba and send for Dr. Kui.
Yes, doctor.
You better put him to bed. Mr. Summers, this is Dr. Kui.
Charmed, Mr. Summers, I'm sure.
How do you do, Doctor?
Dr. Kui was educated in your country, America.
Precisely. This is the patient, I presume?
Yes, make it snappy, will you, Doctor?
I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do.
Nothing. Are you sure?
Positive. This man has been dead since morning.
I'm profoundly sorry about the death of your friend, Mr. Summers.
What has to be, I suppose. Did you have to bury him so soon?
It was out of my hands. The local law insists. The climate and something even worse makes it necessary.
You mean this voodoo zombie business, huh?
This voodoo magic is far more real than you think, Mr. Summers. You heard what Dr. Kui had to say.
Oh, but that's impossible. He's dead since morning.
Things like that have happened before on this island. There are even whisperings going on among the natives that he was bewitched.
Bewitched? But why? What for?
Maybe for prying into things that did not concern him.
Moment bitte, Doctor.
Come, Mr. Fott. Excuse me. What is it?
The radio. Word has just come through. They must have the Admiral's information at once.
We've got to make him talk.
We might perform the ceremony.
The rites of transmigration. Get everything ready. Inform Tahama. And get Madame Sangre to the dungeon.
Madame Sangre?
You heard me. Hurry.
Tahama, the ceremony später unten.
I'll be right along. I'll have to go. You've got to feed the zombies.
Me? I can't stand zombies, and you knows it.
Do as you're told. And you'd better set another plate. For we're going to have company for dinner.
Company? You mean there's a new one?
That's right. The Irishman from upstairs.
Well, I do declare. Imagine us having a white zombie for dinner.
kid zombie.
What you doing in that lineup?
Don't bother me, woman. Can't you see I was a has-been?
A zombie?
Nothing else but. And don't ask me my name, 'cause I don't know. I don't know nothing.
You ain't no zombie. Zombies can't talk.
Can I help it 'cause I'm loquacious?
How'd you get this way?
I ain't telling nothing. All I know is that I joined the club. And as a member, I has privileges.
What privileges?
Privileges to get fed.
That ain't no new development with you.
Woman, where's my food?
There it is. Help yourself.
Company, come and get it.
Where's the white one?
What white one?
The one who flew the plane you come in. He's also one of the new recruits.
The only one I know about is the boys in my squad. Is this the best food you got?
The best? For zombies, that and the 6-bit deluxe special.
This being a zombie sure is a drawback. Where's the salt?
You eats that the way it is and likes it. Zombies ain't supposed to use salt.
I thought you said...
I changed my mind.
That's more like it. Take it easy there, woman. I ain't no heroin.
Now eat.
Ooh! What is you trying to do, poison me?
How's you feeling?
How should I feel?
You ain't feeling dead, is you? 'Cause if you is, then you's a zombie.
And if I ain't?
Then you ain't no zombie. The rule says if a zombie uses salt, he dries up and gets dead again.
How do I look? How do I look?
Take a look for yourself.
Well, according to this, I ain't dead.
That's all I want to know. Then you ain't no zombie.
How you know?
'Cause when a zombie looks in the mirror, he don't see nothing.
That's me, all right. Well, I ain't no zombie after all. If I ain't no zombie, and there is, what am I doing here? What am I...
Hey, where you going?
Jeff, where have you been? What are you doing coming out of there?
One at a time, Mr. Bill. I just been reincarnated.
You what?
I just got de-zombified. That's the facts, Mr. Bill. But that's all I remember.
Jeff, you've got to remember. These zombies, did you see any of them?
I just got through eating dinner with them.
Were any of them white?
Why do you ask me that? Samantha asked me the same thing down in the kitchen.
No, I was just thinking of Mac. They were in such a hurry to bury him.
Bury him? Is Mr. Mac dead? My goodness. Maybe he's the one that,
The one? Go on. What one?
I was digging in a graveyard. Can you imagine me digging in a graveyard?
What about the graveyard?
No, that couldn't have been me.
Oh, but Jeff, you've got...
What was that?
Sounded like a woman's scream.
What one?
I don't know, but it sounded like Barbara. I'll get the flashlight.
Off again.
Down here.
I'm coming to my heart in.
This way. Madame Sangre. That's what you got for trying to warn us. Whoever did it can't be far away.
You mean can't be too far away?
Jeff, look.
Eyes, if you look, I ain't responsible for nothing you sees. Mr. Bill, ain't that a coffin?
It's Max.
You don't think he done joined up with the zombies, do you?
I don't know. But if that Sangre thinks he can use Max's body to...
What's the matter?
Listen. What does that sound like to you?
I don't know, but it ain't Gene Krupa.
It's the same drums we heard the other night. Voodoo drums. We gotta find them.
Oh, Mr. Bill, ain't we found enough in one day?
After this, there's no telling what he's up to. Mac might be... Come on.
I'm coming. Mr. Bill, does we have to do this?
Quiet, Jeff.
I ain't said a word.
In there. Oh, it won't budge. Jeff, you were down here. Don't you remember how you got in?
I can't remember.
Think hard, Jeff. We got to get in there.
Now, let me think.
Admiral Wainwright, what were your orders?
To go.
Stop! Stop! Mamba, you fool! She was just going to talk.
Unbelievers. Outsiders come in.
Get them!
Mac, go back. It's Bill. Bill Summers, your pal. Go back. Mac, go back.
Get back! Stop! Stop them!
Did you contact the Coast Guard all right, Admiral?
They'll be aboard here for us in the morning. How's your friend?
Those bullets didn't help him any. He'll need a little patching up when that Coast Guard cutter gets here. But he says he's raring to go again. Say, by the way, how did that insane doctor manage to get you on this island?
Well, he brought our plane down with a false radio beam. Killed the crew and tortured me to get information about our canal zone fortifications for his government. He didn't succeed at first. And then he decided to try this voodoo business.
Oh, you mean those rites of transmigration he talked about?
Yes, that's right. You see, he tried to transfer the Admiral's information to my brain. He was completely mad on the subject of hypnotism. Half the island was under his spell.
First, he tried to use Madame Sangre as a subject. When she broke under the strain, he used Barbara. I hate to think what might have happened if you hadn't turned those zombies against him.
You and me both. If there's one thing that I wouldn't want to be twice, zombies is both of them.
Well, what do you know? Being shot with bullets turns zombies back into normal human beings. How times have changed. These days they shrug off anything but a headshot and they still keep on coming. Did you spot my cameo? You can always liven up a library with some curtains, a few throw pillows and a human skull or two. Or so I read in Better Homes and Graveyards. Or should that be Marble Orchards? Produced mere months before Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, King of the Zombie manages to avoid any blatant references to Nazi Germany, though the villain is a German who broadcasts in German. There's a good reason for this. Monogram had problems a couple of years earlier when they tried to release Hitler the Beast of Berlin in Berlin. The film failed to pass European censors and almost bankrupted the studio. In what would otherwise be a rather mediocre movie, the hilarious performance of Mantan Moreland is masterful to say the least. It's interesting to see that even back in the 40s, black people were the voice of reason in horror movies. White people never listen and are therefore doomed. Before you have time to digest that crummy nugget of knowledge from a special source, I'll quickly say my goodbyes and disappear into the night, but not before inviting you to return next week to sacrifice another 90 minutes of your precious life to witness dark depravities never before realised. Well, almost never. On the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. Toodles!